He was the first one who come in and revolutionised it at Chelsea. He'd be the first one in, and no lie, 8 o'clock, he'd be the one setting the cones out. And you come in as a group of players, and he was out there pouring the rain, getting his session organised. And we literally went from like 4 grids of the pitch, from that to that. But in between that, there was drinks. So there weren't no, this session here, go over there for a drink. It was, lads, we're training for an hour. That's it. You go from there to there to there to there. He brought 3 young kids in, ball boys. Every time the ball went out of play, we had a ball back in instantly. And if that was a bad pass or a bad roll from one of his staff, he would stop the session and go absolutely berserk at his members of staff. And to a point, pretty embarrassing for them. But his standards were so high, and he demanded from everyone, you know, from the players, his staff, from people inside the medical team, everyone at the football club.
So you'd never seen that level of professionalism before?
Not like that, no. He was on everything. He knew, you know, when we travelled, why we travelled 2 days earlier, why we stayed overnight, the best hotels. He was on everything. Just his intensity to everything and attention to detail was incredible.
Did he change the way that you thought about football?
Yeah, 100%. When he first came in, the first session, the lads walked in, we was like, wow, that's a proper session, that.
Can you remember the specifics of that?
Well, just the flow. It was pre-season, and the first thing he said to the players was, right, balls day one. And balls of our generation, of going, you got footballs out day one of pre-season, was probably unheard of. He was like, his fitness coach was, you never see a pianist run around the piano, you see a pianist work on the piano and improve. And from day one we had the balls, and mentally it was like, wow. But I tell you what, we probably covered more distance with the ball than we would have done running around the pitch. But mentally and psychologically, he had us. We was brought into whatever he was going to deliver that day.
How did that change when he came back, that second spell?
He was the same, exactly the same. Now, people have said about when he come back, he wasn't. The intensity, him taking every session, him being there, you know, just having his presence. He never, on the second time round, he never took every session himself, but his presence was there. And you felt it as a player. He had his eyes on everyone. If someone was messing about in the warm-up or kicking a ball when he's speaking, it was like, when I speak, the ball stays still, you listen to me. You know, he was the boss.
From the outside, at times, certainly in that second spell, and there were rumours about it not ending well in the first spell between you and he, relationship-wise, but from the outside, John, in that second spell, it looked like it was a complicated relationship. He very publicly substituted you at Manchester City at half-time, when it perhaps wasn't necessary to do that. Tell us from your point of view.
Well, I think the big managers, and when I look in world football, he's probably the biggest, and the big managers are never afraid to make big decisions. Now, he obviously thought that was right, but even as a player, as his captain, played every minute of every game the season before, I was like, he's in charge, that's it. I went in the following day, we didn't even talk about it. And I just showed him that, you know, I'm here if you need me, that was it. There was no discussion, no need for him to pull me, if that was his faults. And the mentality, I would literally, probably for the football club, but for him, I would give everything. I would leave that pitch, you know, in a coffin for him. It was in every player that he had felt the exact same way.
And does that relationship continue? Is it still the same now?
Yeah,
with him?
Still in great contact. Even when I joined Aston Villa, he was the first one to text me, congratulate me, and said he'd be watching the games. He'll be a Villa fan. And listen, that's what he does. When Rafa was at Chelsea, he didn't play me. Then Mourinho took over again. He was the one on the phone to me in the summer going, JT, I know you as an individual, I know you as a player. We start from scratch, come back, you're my main man, you're my captain, you're going to play next year. Work hard in the summer. And I remember being out for dinner with my wife and my kids. I had a glass of wine. I got off the phone to him and was like, that's it, no more wine, that's it, I'm training 2-3 times a day. And that's the way he pressed people's buttons. He knew how to press mine, he knew how to press Lamps's and get the best and suck every last bit out of everyone.
Did Rafa text you?
No,
No.
Definitely not.